The Bourne Identity. Guys, Jason Bourne is coming out in July, and I'm a humongous fan of the Bourne franchise. I love the Bourne films. I've had a lot of fun watching them again because I feel like reviewing them. I want to give you guys more in-depth reviews of the Bourne trilogy than I did before, starting with The Bourne Identity, directed by Doug Liman, who later went on to direct Edge of Tomorrow. The role of Jason Bourne was well known to people who had enjoyed Robert Ludlum's books before, and when they cast Matt Damon in this role, the guy from Good Will Hunting and Courage Under Fire, that didn't go over too well. And what have I always said in videos about casting announcements? Nobody likes anything that's ever announced ever. I remember back in 2002, people were losing their shit. People were so pissed off that the little skinny guy from Courage Under Fire was gonna play a badass spy, Jason Bourne. And, well, they were wrong. If you've never seen the Bourne films before, these upcoming reviews are gonna contain some spoilers. I highly suggest seeing them though. That's your warning. This movie presents a fantastic mystery. You have this guy who washes up on a boat somewhere. He's been shot in the back twice. He has no idea who he is. Yet as the film progresses, he suddenly finds himself gaining skills that he had no idea he had. He has a bank account number lodged into his hip in a little metal device. When he goes to that bank, he finds guns and passport information and tons of money. He has no idea who he is. And this film is about that journey. So it's just as interesting for us as an audience because the only information that we get really comes from Jason Bourne learning about himself. One of the most ingenious things about the Bourne Identity, though, is that when it cuts back to the people who are looking for him, who are hunting him, the CIA and all those other secret agent people, Chris Cooper and Brian Cox, the way they talk about Bourne, you get that he has a reputation, but you aren't told what he is, an assassin. You start to figure that out as the film progresses, but you can actually go back and rewatch the movie, and everything that the CIA people are saying makes sense. It's not like they're speaking secretly so that the audience doesn't figure out that Bourne's an assassin. The way they talk about Bourne builds anticipation for who he is, makes you sort of feel afraid of this guy, but they don't come out and say who he is. So the film's reveal isn't ruined, but the way they are speaking about this guy still makes sense because it's not like they just go around smoking cigarettes going, yeah, boy, that Jason Bourne assassin, man, we gotta take care of that assassin, don't we? We really gotta take care of that Jason Bourne assassin. They would never do that. And so it works that they're walking around speaking of him as almost like this ghost that everyone's afraid of even existing. Whenever this guy comes on camera, everyone's like, holy shit, that's Jason Bourne. Oh my God, get everyone out of there now! And so when it cuts back to people who know who Jason Bourne is, and you see the fear in their eyes at just the mention of his name, it's such a great way to set up a compelling hero. Let's talk about the action sequences, because the action sequences in the Bourne franchise are sort of a mixed bag. I tend to hate shaky cam. And a lot of that is due to the fact that many filmmakers have no idea how to use it. There are a select few people who understand the art of handheld cam versus shaky cam. And people tend to confuse these two art forms. Handheld cam is not the same as shaky cam. Shaky cam masks poor stunt work. It hides an actor's inability or a director's inability to film an action scene competently. Handheld cam, like what Michael Mann often utilizes in his action films, is completely different. And the Bourne Identity, the first one, there really isn't that much shaky cam per se. There's a lot of handheld cam, and it's edited very quickly. The median shot length in this movie is not very long at all. And you get the sense that everything is moving at this very frenetic pace, because that's how our hero feels too. In his brain, he's feeling so broken and everything is fragmented. And so the fact that the movies are also filmed that way is extremely clever. But going back to the camera style of the Bourne Identity in particular, Doug Liman did a lot of really interesting things with this movie. He breaks rules. He breaks the 180 rule. If you don't know what the 180 rule is, it's that the camera always stays on this pivoting 180 degree angle when it cuts back and forth between two people who are talking or two people who are fighting, and it gives you the sense of where people are located in a scene. For instance, if I'm sitting here talking to someone over there, when it cuts away to the person, he's going to be sitting there looking over there from the other angle. That's the 180 rule. Doug Liman, I believe, intentionally breaks that rule in this movie quite often. And it's just a theory of mine, but I think that's the way Liman approached most of the directing in this movie. There isn't a single aspect of it that feels Hollywoodized. It all feels as if it's happening within the moment. When I rewatch The Bourne Identity, It felt like I was watching events that took place. And that's my best compliment for this movie. I gotta talk about Matt Damon, okay? We all know he's great as Jason Bourne, but when this movie came out, he blew me the fuck away. He is fantastic in this film with the action scenes, with the dramatic scenes. You feel for this guy. You understand him. You feel as if you're on this ride with him. And his chemistry with the girl he meets, Marie, is fantastic, and she is so good in this film. Their relationship feels natural. She's like the only person he knows. And so they create this relationship with one another that's so sweet, but again, is not Hollywoodized. She doesn't walk around in a bikini. The camera doesn't pan up her body sensually. These are just two people on the run. And it feels so real. The action is so visceral. It's so exciting. There's a great car chase sequence with Paul Oakenfield's Ready, Steady, Go playing in the background. The fight scenes are brutal, pretty intense for a PG-13, and they're all done very well. And again, it doesn't feel like Hollywoodized action. It feels like a guy who just knows his shit and can take you down if he chooses to. I view all of the Bourne trilogy a little bit differently, and I'll get more into those as I review Supremacy and Ultimatum. But the Bourne Identity is a very good action thriller, but to me, it's the best character piece of the three. It's the one that really makes you feel for this guy the most. I'm gonna give the Bourne Identity an A. So please stay tuned for my reviews of the Bourne Supremacy and the Bourne Ultimatum. I've already reviewed the Bourne Legacy in the past, and I'm not going to be refilming that. I don't want to watch that movie again. It sucks. That's the honest truth. If you want to watch my review of the Bourne Legacy, it's up now, but I do want to do more in-depth reviews of the original Bourne trilogy since I love them so much. Stay tuned as well for my upcoming review of Jason Bourne next July because I'm going to do something special. My friends and I and my wife, we're going to film a badass Jason Bourne skit. I really want to do something fun, and we're going to do that for the Jason Bourne review. So look forward to that, guys. That's going to be next July, of course, when the film comes out. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Reviews of Supremacy and Ultimatum coming up very soon. If you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.